Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to
Oh, you didn't know?
with Tony Reavis.
What up, everybody? If you don't know, I am Tony Reavis, and welcome back to Oh, You Didn't Know with me, Tony Reavis, back on the mic, podcast episode 17, back in the house. How you guys doing? Man, it's been a long time. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to get into that a little bit later in this podcast. I'm going to talk about where I've been. It's nothing exciting. It's just more like personal stuff and just, some deep stuff that we're going to get into. We're going to get into some serious stuff today. I don't have a guest because I have a lot to talk to you guys about. Talk to you about some funny stuff. I'm going to talk about where I've been and just kind of the state of mind I've been in. We're going to talk about it a little bit. It's not too dark. Don't worry. It's just, some stuff I want to talk about. So we'll get into all that. I promise. I really missed you guys. I hear from you guys. You missed me. Those of you who did, I really appreciate it. You're the reason why I can get the passion to come back. You know what I mean? So I'm back. I'm happy to be here. Every time I do this, I have so much fun. It's just getting up to doing it can be tough sometimes, but we'll get into that later. Like I said, no guests because I got a lot to talk to you about. So you're getting a lot of me today, folks. So I hope you enjoy it. A lot of me. There's some awesome stuff going on. Mama Reavis is back on the podcast today, just kind of dipping our toes back in the water, getting her back on the podcast. But we want to bring back the advice column because that is the most funny stuff ever. You guys send me questions, problems you have, and she gives you answers. Most of the time, they're very sarcastic and hilarious. But who knows? Maybe they help you out. So please send me questions, guys. Send me questions so we can get Mama's advice because it's hilarious. So you can send me those questions on Facebook, if you got my Facebook, or iamTonyReavis on Instagram and Twitter. Hit me up or send me an email even at iamTonyReavis@gmail.com. If you want to send me a question, you got some problems, Mama will fix them. All right. So let me know. So stay tuned at the end of the podcast. She'll be back. We talk about some things. We talk about the Super Bowl. We talk about maybe going on a vacation, all that good stuff. But before we get into that, we got some other good stuff to talk about. We got some funny. All right. We got some funny stuff. And then we're going to get deep. And speaking of the Super Bowl, that's right. This last Sunday was the Super Bowl and the Eagles took the title. Thank goodness, because I can't stand the Patriots. So glad the Eagles took it. And our resident mailman, Dan the Mailman, who debuted last week on the podcast, or not last week, but last episode, he's an Eagles fan. He's a Philly guy. He's from Pennsylvania, so this was a big moment for him. I'm super excited that he got to taste glory. So congratulations to you, Dan the Mailman. Hilarious following him that day. Just the journey that he went on, the emotional journey. He Snapchatted it most of the day, and guess what? I got those Snapchats. Okay, I saved them. I'm not going to show all of them because it's a lot of just loud noise and screaming, some of them, but you're going to kind of see the journey that he went on from pregame to middle of the game to victory. And I'll tell you this much, pregame, he's very coherent, talking to the camera. Hey, a few hours to go, feeling good. And then it becomes a lot of loud noises, a lot of screaming, a lot of music, a lot of dancing. It's a lot of fun. And you'll be able to hear what it was like to witness that Super Bowl victory as a Philly fan. So let's just jump right into that. Here's Dan the Mailman pregame. See how he felt.
Today's the day. Woke up early, got all my chores done, everything done I needed to do, responsibilities are done with. Cracking some cold ones. And gonna get some poker going before the game. Go Birds! 30 minutes from game time, and I'm getting rowdy. Let's do this, Birds. Go, Birds!
So you can see he's feeling pretty good, hanging out with his buds, having a few brews, playing some poker, ready for the game to start. The nerves aren't there yet. All right. Then the game starts, and pretty much from the beginning, Eagles were in command, and the Patriots were kind of coming from behind, hanging in there, but Eagles never fell too far behind. I don't even think they were losing at any point. they were at least tied, or maybe they were losing, but it was always close. So, he was never too downtrodden. As you can see here, this is about halftime when the Eagles, right before, took a big commanding lead. And check out what was going on at this party. See, the excitement was there. And finally, when clock struck 0 and the confetti started to fly, the Eagles were world champs. Fly, Eagles, fly. Here's Dan the Mailman celebrating this glorious victory.
Where's that fumble? Let's check it out. Where's that fumble? Oh.
Hey, get me.
Yes, there's a fumble. What an idiot. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Tear down for what?
What a moment, guys. What a moment. I remember when the Seahawks won their Super Bowl, it was never in doubt. We won like 43-8. It was fantastic. But I just remember that feeling of being on top of the world. And I'm glad that Dan the Mailman finally got to feel it, their first Super Bowl. Congrats to you, Dan the Mailman. Congrats to Philly for not setting your town on fire, all the way on fire. But congrats to you guys. You guys took down the evil empire, took down the Patriots. I'm so excited that happened. It was a great Super Bowl. I got to Skype with my family the whole game. I was just sitting in my room watching it, and I was on Skype with my family, and I was kind of sitting in their living room while we were watching. It was a good time, and I talk about that a little bit with my mom, so stay tuned for that. But congrats again, Dan the Mailman. We're going to have you back on one of these weeks. Got to hear some funny stories from the road. Dan the Mailman. Good dude. Love you, buddy. Congrats again. But what's up, guys? I'm going to, I kind of had to get that out of the way because that was fresh. Super Bowl was fresh. And now that we're kind of just hanging out here, I want to get some clerical stuff out of the way. Make sure you guys follow me on youtube.com/iamTonyReavis. I'm kind of taking an ad break right here. A little ad break in the middle of the podcast or the beginning because I'm getting so close to 100 subscribers, which doesn't seem like that big a thing because people have 13 million subscribers and whatever. That's great. But me personally, I've been wanting to get 100 subscribers. That was my goal last year to get by the end of the year. I didn't get it, but we're just a few weeks into this year. And if I can get it a few weeks into this year, I'd be super happy. So I'm sitting at like 92. All right. So I just need 8 of you guys. If you're not following me on YouTube, if you're not subscribed, I need you to go to youtube.com/iamTonyReavis right now. If you're listening to this on iTunes or you're listening to this on SoundCloud, go to youtube.com/iamTonyReavis and click that subscribe button. That's where you can find this podcast. I put this podcast on there as well. So, if you're listening at home or whatever and you want to just pop it on your YouTube, you got it there. Also, I got gaming videos and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have more stuff coming down the road. I'm thinking about doing some comedy sketches. I'm definitely bringing the music back that I've been working on, and all that stuff you'll be able to find there. But mainly it's gaming stuff, but it's comedy stuff. It's comedy gaming videos. So it is gaming. I'm playing games, but it's comedy. Even if you're not into gaming videos and stuff like that, you still like my stuff because it's funny. So youtube.com/iamTonyReavis. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully I'll be at 100 subscribers soon because you guys are listening to this and you're going to that website. You're going to youtube.com and you're clicking that subscribe button. Do it for me, please. I love you guys so much. All you people who listen to me. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. Love it. I love it so much. I love your support already. It's great. Speaking of support, the support I get from you guys is amazing, and I do these podcasts. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's fun to do. I love doing these. And I'm like, I hope people are listening. And there's people listening. If you're listening to this, thank you so much. I did the code word thing last episode. Remember that? Where I had all these people. I did a little Facebook post like, oh, who should I put on the podcast? And I wasn't expecting shameless self-promotion. I thought people would nominate others. But everyone was like, me. And I was like, okay, we'll see how many of you are actually listening. So I said a code word, and I wanted you guys to text me that code word if you really wanted to be on my podcast to prove to me that you were listening. And here's the results of that code word. Some of you said it. Some of you texted me and messaged me the code word. And I was like, awesome. So that's what showed me that there's people listening. Now, it was none of the people who were the me's. All those me's didn't do the code word, which is exactly right, which is why you'll never be on this podcast probably. And I can say that and it won't hurt your feelings because you're not even listening right now. But for those of you who did, who texted me corduroy, even though it's hard to spell, some of you got around it and sent me a GIF or a picture of corduroy, GIF, whatever. You sent me a picture of corduroy. Hilarious. You guys are the real MVPs. So if you guys messaged me corduroy because you heard that code word, you guys are the real MVPs. That made my day every time you guys messaged me. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. That was awesome. But yeah, to all those other people who want to be on the podcast, sorry, tough luck. I knew it. That's why I did the test, and they failed. Man, I cannot catch my breath because I've just been going 10 minutes nonstop, and I'm just like going because I got a lot to catch up. Yep, a lot to catch up on, a lot of catching up to do. I've been gone for a few weeks, but we're back. What's funny? What's funny going on in the world these days? Oh my gosh, I'll tell you what's funny. Okay, before we get serious, we're gonna do some funny, but even this funny stuff is kind of scary. So strap in. So as you know, I'm on the YouTubes, and I'm a fan of the YouTubes. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. That's pretty much, I come home from work, and while I'm working and stuff, I put on YouTube. I put on gaming videos. I put on different YouTube stuff. I'm a big fan of YouTube. I don't have cable, so that's how I get majority of my entertainment, right? And there's something going on. I saw this trailer for a YouTube Red show. And if you don't know what that is, YouTube has started creating their own original content a la Netflix, right? Where it's like actual scripted television type stuff on their own streaming service that you pay extra. YouTube's free, but you can get YouTube Red for like $12 a month or whatever it is. And they have their own content that's extra for those people. And I saw this ad for a show that they have coming out called I'm Poppy. Okay. Now, if you don't know what this is, you were like me. I had no idea what this was. I saw the trailer and it was the weirdest thing that I ever saw. Apparently it went to Sundance, so it has to be good because you can't just get into Sundance. But it's this thing called I'm Poppy. And apparently there's this YouTube personality called Poppy who puts out the weirdest YouTube videos I've ever seen in my life. And we're going to get back to that in a second. But the show is basically a scripted comedy, dark comedy thing about this YouTube personality and like these people saying, oh, wow, these weird YouTube videos, that's genius. Let's make her a show or whatever. And then it's kind of a meta thing. And then there's like crazy people involved and it's weird. It's very weird. But Poppy is this character, and I've come to find out that it's just like a big marketing ploy because she's actually a singer. So remember that because that's going to be a key element to the story that I'm leading you along. I'm kind of doing the Tarantino thing. I kind of brought you to the end, and I'm kind of taking you back, but here we go. Poppy is a YouTube personality, and they make the weirdest videos where it's like a minute and a half, and it's just this girl with like this long bleached blonde hair standing in a white room. Okay. And she's dressed real chic, right? Real like Paris Fashion Week weird stuff, right? But that's like, ooh, fashionable, but like crazy. Like you don't just see people walking down the street like this. She's dressed all weird. And she'll just stand there and the audio is like so like oversaturated and like overproduced that like you hear every nook and cranny of her voice. You hear her throat closing and her lips smacking, like everything, but it's like not bad audio. It's like super clean, which is unsettling. And she's standing in this white room, which is also unsettling. And there's unsettling music playing in the background at all times. So it's really creepy. And she just spouts nonsense for like a minute and a half. What I need you to do, since you already went to youtube.com/iamTonyReavis to subscribe to me, you already have that browser window open. Search Poppy. All right, search Poppy and watch these videos. You won't miss it. It's a long blonde hair in a blank white room. Just watch any one of her videos. Pause this podcast, watch it, and come back. Just a minute of your time. It's crazy. Okay, crazy. So creepy, so unsettling, and it's just nuts. And it's weird because she like sounds like a child, right? She sounds kind of like a child. but also like, is she trying to be sexy? Like, I don't like how this makes me feel. Like, am I supposed to be like, oh, she's cute, but then I'm like, but she's terrifying, right? And I'm mad that it makes me feel this way because she's like 24 years old, 25 years old, whatever, that's fine. But she sounds like a kid, but she's also cute. And I'm kind of like, why are you making me feel this way? I don't like that I like you. I want to be scared of you. Now I hate myself that I think you're cute. It's weird, right? It's so weird. Now, this is where the story gets real interesting. I found out that she goes on tour and she performs because she's a singer. And apparently that's when it clicked. I'm like, okay, this is all like a marketing ploy. They had this thing. They have this awesome singer. She's a great singer. And they're like, how do we make her pop? How do we like get in the news kind of thing? And they did it this weird, unsettling way, this crazy guerrilla marketing. And so I was like, well, what kind of music does she make? This is odd. I'm sure it's going to be weird. So I went on my Apple Music because I, subscribe on there. And that's how I listen to all my music. And I searched Poppy. And she has a new album out called like poppy.computer. And sure enough, there's the album. So I'm like, all right, let's see what kind of BS this is, right? I click the album and I click the very first song and it's called I'm Poppy. Oh boy, when I tell you that I listened to this song and I was like, I can't believe what I'm listening to. It was so dope. How was this song so sick? You could not believe, if you could see my reaction to hearing this song, it was so dang awesome. I loved it, all right? And it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's weird, and she's singing about being on the internet, and it's this whole character thing, and it's weird. But it was so dope, guys. It was so dope. Oh my gosh, like it reminded me of like Eiffel 65 and like kind of Daft Punk-ish, but not really. That's giving it too much credit, but kind of on that scale of that like electronic kind of vibe, like Diplo and stuff like that. Really, Eiffel 65 is what it reminds me of. And I was like, catchy, and it was in a weird way, right? Well, there's just like certain parts that were catchy. I didn't like the chorus or whatever, but there's like this breakdown that I was like, this is so sick. And I couldn't believe my ears. Okay? I couldn't believe that I was loving this music. Now, I never want to lie to you guys. All right? I'm very proud in the fact that this podcast is a way for me to bear all, to open my chest and explain anything I need to explain and talk to you listeners, and hopefully you get through your work days and you're enjoying listening to me and we can have this open communication. And I never want to lie to you guys, so I'm going to be honest. I listened to the entire album. And I've listened to it multiple times. It is so dope! This album, guys, it's so good. I don't know why. I hate that I love it, but it is my new guilty pleasure, and I'm bearing it to you right now so you can hold me accountable. It is fire. It is so fire. The first song was sick. Then I move on to the next song and they start talking about the song's about making a video, and it's weird, but it sounds like Madonna, like the good Madonna, like 1980s Material Girl Madonna. I loved it, right? And then the next song sounds like Passion Pit or like MGMT. I'm like, what? How? And then the next song sounds like Blink 182 kind of. I'm like, this is kind of dope. And then the next song sounds like Hall & Oates. I love Hall & Oates. And they got me. They hooked me. And it's so catchy that I'm sleeping. And I wake up with the song already in my head. And I don't know if this is some Jedi mind trick, some cultish stuff, because it's kind of spooky and scary. And they've dug into my brain and they're going to, maybe they're controlling me to even talk about this right now. But all I got to say is it's fire. And if you want to listen, go listen to poppy.computer. Poppy.computer. That's the album by Poppy. The first song is called I'm Poppy. It's fire. If I could get a ludicrous verse on that song, it would be so dope. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to play a piece of it. I'm going to play a piece of it right now. I don't care if this gets copyrighted, whatever. I'm going to play a piece of it and it's so fire. Give me 1 second. I'm popping it up right now. It's so dope. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is so sick, guys. Luda. See, could you imagine Luda rapping on this? She's a great singer. It's super weird. And I want to skip to the part that I really love. This part is like, this is where Luda would rap. You cannot tell me this is not fire. Camera. Oh my gosh, it's so dope, guys. I have no shame in saying that I am on the Poppy train. I'm not really down with the YouTube videos. Stay away from those. They're really weird, but I see what they're doing. They got me listening. They won. So don't fall in the same trap I did. But oh my gosh, it is fire. It's so dope. I see the light. I love this music. I love it. It sounds like, okay, if you take the gimmick away from her, you see how amped up I'm getting about this? Let me calm down for a second. If you took the gimmick away, you take the actual gimmick away, do you know what she sounds like? Because there's actually the final song on the album kind of strips away all that stuff. And I can see like, oh, this is the artist, not the character doing this song. That's what it feels like. The last song is called Pop Music. She sounds like Carly Rae Jepsen. Okay. Not a huge fan of Carly Rae Jepsen, right? And be honest. But you cannot tell me that we do not all love Call Me Maybe. That song's dope. That's the jam. We know it, whether you want to admit it or not. If that comes on the radio, you'll sing along with it. You might hate yourself afterwards, but hey, you're singing. And there's even a part in one of the songs, I don't know what song it is, I haven't memorized this stuff, but she does this thing like the last kind of riff of the before the chorus sounds like Call Me Maybe a little bit. And that's how I was like, oh, that's what she sounds like. But guys, don't watch the YouTube videos because they're scary. Don't let your kids watch them. Don't let, your nieces, your nephews, keep it away from the children because it's scary. But listen to this music. It's fire. So fire. And I would love to have Poppy on a track that I do one day. I gotta say. It's an accident how it all happened. And I gotta be honest, I've listened to the album through the top to bottom a few times. I was sitting playing Madden on my PlayStation the other day, was listening to Poppy. I was at work just this evening, waiting for the phone to ring, listening to Poppy. I'm not proud of it, guys. I'm not proud of it, but I'm using this as an open forum to talk about what's on my mind and what's in my heart, and to be honest. And I feel better. I feel better getting this out. But you guys be the judge of yourself. If you go listen to it, I'm telling you, there's going to be one song at least on there. Maybe you don't like the words because they're weird and it's in character, but the songs, like the beats, the music of it is actually pretty cool because it goes from Madonna to Hall & Oates to Daft Punk to Eiffel 65. It's sweet. It's all over the place. All stuff that I love. I'm a huge music fan, and I'm down with the Poppy movement for the music. The character's weird, though. Gonna be honest. But that's enough Poppy talk. Gonna be done with that. My blood pressure just went skyrocketing because I got so amped to tell you guys about Poppy. Because it's been in my head. It's been in my head for a week now. But yeah, that's crazy. What else? What else is funny? I don't know what else is funny now. I'm so hyped up on Poppy. We talked about the Super Bowl, which was great. I'm glad the Patriots lost. Oh, here's one thing. When I was on my way home from work before the Super Bowl, I went home from work. On my way, I went to the grocery store, grabbed some stuff. Grabbed some soda. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to, have myself a little treat. I got some cookies. I got some taquitos. And it was good. And I got a Lyft or an Uber home from the grocery store. And you know how you just make small talk with people, whether it's your barista or an Uber driver or whatever. Just like, oh, hey, how's the day going? Like, I'm not trying to start a conversation necessarily. Like, just get me to my destination. Hey, hello, pleasantries, and let's move on. Well, this guy picks me up, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? And he's like, oh, not good. He's this Italian guy, like straight from Italy. And he's like, oh, not good. I'm like, oh, dang it. Just opened this can of worms that I did not want to open. And yeah, he was like, oh, not good. Not the job or anything, just problems with my wife. And I'm like, okay, don't tell me about any of this. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. It's not what I want. I just want to get home, watch Super Bowl. So I try to change the subject as quick as possible, try to nip that in the bud. And I start talking about, I'm like, oh, well, Super Bowl's today. Like immediately, like I didn't even hear him. And we start talking about Super Bowl for a bit. And I'm like, okay, crisis averted. Stop talking. I live next to a very popular hiking trail in Los Angeles, probably the most popular hiking trail in the entire city, right on the bottom of it. And so it was a nice day, beautiful day, and people were hiking. And as we get closer to my house, there's people who are walking to their cars or walking to the thing or whatever, and it's hot, so they're dressed in, workout gear, maybe no shirts on, just like sports bras or just, shorts and this guy starts perving out. And I'm like, come on, man, this is not cool. I'm not okay with this. And he's trying to like bro it up with me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not about that. So I keep trying to like just brush him off. And he's like, oh, look at that girl. I'm like, you're sick. Why do you guys do this? I don't know. And this is coming from a guy. I can't imagine what you ladies go through, and it just drives me nuts to hear it. And even when it's my friends who are like whistling from across the street, I'm like, what are you hoping happens? What are you hoping is going to happen? She's going to cross 4 lanes of traffic, risking her life just to get your phone number? No. She's fearing for her life because you're a jackass. Shut it. Oh, it makes me mad. I hate that. When I'm walking down the street at 10 at night and I have to walk past a young lady, she has to fear for her life. And I understand why. I'm a big dude. She has no idea who I am, what my intentions are. She doesn't know that I'm a big teddy bear and I just want her to be safe. She doesn't know that, right? So, I just try to be as small as possible. I don't make eye contact. I don't know what to do to make her feel as safe as possible. And there's really not much I can do. But I hate it that girls have to go through this. And so this guy's being a perv, and it's just driving me nuts, and he won't stop. And finally he's like, oh, yeah, hello, this girl. Well, you think she's hot? I'm like, nah, dude, I'm gay. Straight up, that's what I said to him. I wanted to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible because he was being a jerk. And immediately the way he shriveled up was hilarious. He got so uncomfortable because I'm this big, burly dude with a beard, right? And I'm sitting there talking about the Super Bowl and football. I'm like, yeah, guy stuff. And he's just thinking I'm one of the bros. And all of a sudden now I'm gay, right? And now he's kind of fearing, right? And I just wanted to like make eye contact with him when he's looking in the rearview mirror and like start licking my lips, start making him feel uncomfortable. It didn't get to that because he shut up right when I said I'm gay. He was like, ooh, quiet, because just like he could be perving on them, I could be perving on him. I'm a big dude. So he shut up until I got out of the car. But I thought that was kind of funny. And that's a message to you guys. Stop it. Stop being dinguses. What are you going to hopes happen by catcalling and sliding in DMs with gross messages? Stop it. Just stop it, okay? How would you like that if someone was talking that way to your mother? That's what you need to think every time you're going to open your stupid fat mouth. Just shut it. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just it's a real thing. I hate that women have to go through that. And I'll never get to feel it, so I can never relate. All I can do is sympathize and try to stop it when I see it. So that was my story. And I hope that guy's wife divorces him, and I hope that's why he was having a bad day, because he deserves it. He's a jerk. Anyways, let's get into some real stuff, guys. I wanted to get into some real stuff. Kind of talk about why I hadn't had an episode the last 2 weeks. I wanted to get the funny stuff out because I know that's what you guys really like. So if you guys don't want to hear some real stuff, that's cool. You can fast forward to when my mom comes on. That's real fun and whatever. But I'm going to talk about some real stuff, not dark really or anything. Just kind of talk about what's been going on with me and why I haven't been doing episodes, and I hope to be doing them more. I had a really good sit-down chat with my buddy Antonio Fernandez, who was actually on the podcast, like episode 3. We talked about him being at Disney and being a singer and all that stuff. And he was actually in LA working on this cool new project that, I can't talk about because it's his thing. But he's doing awesome. And I'm so happy because, like I said on that day when I did the podcast with him, like there's nobody that I root for more. Like people I went to high school with, whatever, like he's the nicest guy, and everything that good that happens to him couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So I'm so excited that he's doing well. But he came and hung out with me one night because he was in LA, and we just sat on the couch and just shot the breeze, caught up on old times. We hadn't actually sat in the same room in probably 7 years, which is crazy to think about. And even though we've been in contact because we make music together, he produced Dope Ass Day. He's producing a lot of the tracks on my new thing that I'm working on. So we kind of talked about that a little bit, but we just caught up. And it was so nice to hear him and to hear that he's doing well. And we talked about, where we're going in life and what we're looking for and what we're kind of moving towards and what we're working for. And that's I've been in a weird place. I've been in a very weird place because I'm very ambitious and there's a lot of things that I want to do when it comes to the podcast and the gaming videos. And I'm doing the stuff with Jeff and Tony Play, which is going awesome when we get the chance to do that. Jeff's been really busy because he's doing awesome, which is great. I love that he's doing awesome stuff too. So, sometimes those episodes are few and far between, but those will be coming back. So make sure you stay tuned for those if you enjoy those. That's on Jeff's YouTube channel, youtube.com/JeffDye, if you want to check those out. But I'm doing a lot of stuff, doing the podcasts and gaming videos, YouTube stuff. But also, that's just kind of like hobby stuff. That's also work that I want to do. But really, I'm in LA because I'm an actor. And that's what I want to be. And I want to be a writer. I like to write my own stuff. I wrote a play last year that I got to perform, which was an awesome experience. I like to write music, all this different stuff that I want to do. And I find myself, I'm very anxious. I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of stress. I have gray hair like crazy just because I stress myself out more than I have to. And I find myself sometimes in not a great place mentally. And nothing too extreme, just kind of like in a place where, people have it way worse off than me. So let me just start by saying that, I'm so blessed that, I'm doing what I'm doing. And for me, like on my worst days, it's more like I just want to stay in bed all day and maybe read, or just play my video game and not have to worry about a video, not have to worry about anything, just hang out and relax. That's the worst it gets for me. It doesn't get any darker than that. But, it's like I have so much drive to do all these things that it's like it's almost counterproductive, right? Where it's like I have all this drive to do all this stuff, yet there's so many things I want to work on. It's kind of overwhelming and I just don't do anything. So the last few weeks I've been doing a podcast just because my days off from like my day job are like my days on doing this, doing the podcast, doing the YouTube stuff. And I feel a lot of pressure on those days, which is weird because it's stuff I love to do. But, and that's why I'm saying like, that's why I want to talk about this because I feel crazy for even saying this, right? Because there's other people who would look at it like, well, you should be thankful for those opportunities. And I am, trust me. It's just, I don't know. It's the anxiety in me. And I know it's unreasonable or it's irrational for me to feel this way. I just feel this way. And I wanted to talk about it. So you can judge me and do whatever, but I just wanted to be honest about it. Where I get my days off and those are my days on to do this stuff. So really I don't have a day off. And there's so much I want to do. I want to write a script, but I have 4 scripts that I'm working on and it's just so overwhelming. I don't do anything. I don't work on anything. I just got to sit down and relax and then end up not working. And then that makes me feel worse. And it's kind of this downward spiral where I end up not doing anything. And I have so much pressure on my days off to enjoy myself that I don't enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? Does that sound weird? Does anyone else feel that? Like you work for the weekend, right? Which is kind of a bummer thing that we do. But, sometimes we got to just get through it to get to the weekend so we have freedom. And so I get to my days off and I'm like, okay, well, I have these days off. I need to be happy. I need to be happy with these days off and enjoy myself. And I have so much pressure to do that I don't enjoy myself because I want to just be chilling, reading a book or playing a video game for fun. But also I'm like, but I should be doing these videos. But I should be doing the podcast. Oh, but I should be writing the script that I've been wanting to do for 7 years that I've dabbled in. And this other script that I thought of a year ago that's like the best idea I've ever made, and I'm only halfway done with it. Like it's just it's overwhelming. And it's like, okay, boo-hoo. Like, look at the things you're doing. I know and I love it. Again, that's why I'm saying I know I sound crazy when I say this, but it's just honest. And I just wanted to be honest with you guys about why the podcasts haven't been coming out. And it comes and goes. Like right now I feel great. That's why I'm doing this podcast and I'm happy to do it. Had a good time doing this podcast. And I love doing the podcast every time. But that's just kind of if you're sitting there and like, man, I wanted another podcast, where are they? That's what tends to happen. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Am I crazy? Do you guys ever feel that way? Let me know. If you have any tips for me, maybe. If you don't feel that way because you do something and it helps you being productive on your days off, but also like enjoying yourself, like if you have any tips for that, I'd love to hear it. You know what I mean? Because it even goes into work where it's like I'm starting to kind of get into a place where I've been at the same job for a while, that the pizzazz is kind of gone. And I do love my job. I do love getting again, I work at my old theater school and I get to talk to students who are applying and all that stuff. So I'm talking to young artists I was in their shoes, and I love getting to talk to them and kind of share my experience. And it's great when those moments come, but those moments are kind of getting few and far between, where I'll make 80 calls a day and only talk to like 2 people. And it's kind of like wearing on me. And like, that's what I get up for every day when I'm going to work and when I'm doing this. Like, I want to inspire. That's why I want to be an artist. That's why I want to be an actor, a writer. I want to tell stories and I want to inspire people. That's what my whole next music project's about. That's what I live for. And when I'm having trouble keeping that fire lit, that's when I start feeling bad. And that's kind of what was been happening the last few weeks. I've had a good week so far, and that's why I'm glad this podcast is going out. But yeah, guys, let me know. Have you guys ever dealt with this? And it can be a private thing. I'd love for it to be a private thing. Like, if you're listening to this and, you know, we're close, or, you know, we're not so close, or whatever, just hit me up and let me know. Like, do you struggle with that too? Like, what do you do to get through it? Do you have any tips for me, or do you need help with that as well? Like, maybe talking to people is how we do it. You know, maybe that's why this is therapeutic for me, to get to talk to you to do it. And I know I might be bumming you out on your, you know, if you're driving home from work or you're on your break and I'm kind of bumming you out right now. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I want this to be a fun podcast, but I just wanted to get real for a second. Maybe you can relate. And if you can, that's great. That's what I want to do. I want to relate to everybody. But yeah, that's just me being real. That's what's going on with me. Let me know. You know, it's kind of a sour note, but no, it's good. It's a good thing. The reason I brought it up is because I want to get better at it. I want to be able to have my off days, enjoy myself doing the work I want to do, because that's what it's about. We get so focused on, like, you know, I get so focused on I'm not where I want to be in my career, and it's a tough business that I'm in. So there's no guarantees, but we get so focused on the light at the end of the tunnel that we don't enjoy getting through the tunnel. All the work it takes to get through the tunnel to get to the end. And that's what it's really about, is enjoying that work in the middle. And I do enjoy that work. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I love it. I love every second of it. But sometimes it's hard to focus on it. And that irrational voice in your head that tries to lie to you is the one that can kind of get me down a little bit. And I know that's what it's trying to do. But let me know, guys. Let me know how you feel. If you relate, if you don't, if you have tips, if you want to talk about it, let's do it. Let's open the dialogue. Hit me up if you know where to find me. I really hate to end the podcast on that note. I'm going to have my mom coming on soon, but is there anything else I can talk about? Because I'd hate to end the podcast on that kind of down note. What else is going on? I don't know. I read The Hobbit. Like I said, this is kind of spurring off of what just happened. I wasn't working, so I decided I'm going to read because I want to do something. And I read The Hobbit in like 3 days. I've read it before, but I reread it again, and I love that book so much. I love it. Great book. If you've never read it, you need to read it. It's good. And I'm going to start reading Lord of the Rings again here soon, but that's a little bit of a taller task than The Hobbit. So it's going to take some persuasion in myself to get myself to jump into that. But I read The Hobbit, loved it, but I didn't love it I loved it until the end, and I forgot that I didn't really like the end of the book. It just seems so inconsequential, the way that they win, the way that Smaug dies. Spoilers, if you didn't know. The dragon, Smaug, dies. And they don't even kill him like the main characters. Like a nobody kills him in a different chapter, like a paragraph. They're just like, oh, Smaug's dead. And I was like, that's weird. And I was like, I forgot about that. And it kind of bugged me. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch these movies again. The Hobbit movies. Not Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. They made 3 of those movies. God knows why. Who knows why? They made 3 of them, and I saw the first one in theaters, and the other 2 I didn't even bother watching because I didn't like the first one. But I was like, let me watch these again. So I watched the first one, and I remembered why I hated them. Because, A, they added a lot of stuff, which I understand they had to stretch that book into 3 movies. That's fine. I don't have a problem with them adding stuff. It's them changing the stuff that they do have. Like, you didn't need to change the book to make it 3 movies. You could keep the book the same and add stuff in between. But instead, they had to change the book. And there's a lot of little changes that you'd only notice if you're a big fan of the book like me. I'm sure if I've never read the book and I didn't know the story, I'd love the movies. But because they're beautiful and they're great. The scene with Bilbo and Gollum, fantastic. I love that scene. But everything else, I'm just like, ugh. I found myself at parts I'm just like, oh, come on. That's not right. I'm one of those guys. So I watched the first one and I got through it. I was like, oh, okay. All right, whatever. I guess it's not that bad if you let that stuff go. I watched the second one and it was like blasphemy. Like the second one is so untrue because the second book is like chapters 7 through 11 or something like that. And technically, and then they added a bunch of stuff. And it's like none of it is right. Like none of it. They just took like, okay, well, this is kind of what happens. And they just added everything's brand new. And I really didn't like it. They added stuff where because Gandalf always leaves the company. He always leaves the group to do his own stuff, and you never know what he's doing. And they added that stuff to connect it to the Lord of the Rings movies. Fine, whatever. Because that could be true or untrue, whatever. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's when you take the stuff from the book and you change it, where they finally get up to the mountain, but there's only 9. 4 of the dwarves don't go up the mountain with them? What? Why? That doesn't happen. Stuff like that drove me crazy. So I haven't even watched the third one yet because I was so upset the way the second one was. I didn't think I would hate it more than I hated the first one. I actually liked the first one in comparison. Second one I did not like. And again, if I didn't know the story, if I didn't read the book, I'd probably love that movie. It's great. Legolas is in it. Not in the book, but he's in the movie. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. But if you know the history of the book and everything, it just rubbed me the wrong way. So, I don't know. I got to watch the third one still. I haven't watched it yet. What do you guys think? Should I watch it? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Have you read the book? Let me know. I don't know. I'm going to watch it, I guess. I got to just finish it and get through it. The Lord of the Rings movies are great. I like the Lord of the Rings movies, but it's because they made 1 movie per book. So they didn't add stuff. They took stuff away, which is fine. Some of that stuff in those books are just like drags on. But anyways. So that's maybe a little better note to end the podcast on. Well, not end it, but to segue to conversation with my mom. So thank you guys for listening. And I've had a fun time. Make sure you guys check out Poppy. Free plug for Poppy because I love that album. I love it. So free plug for Poppy. Check it out. You guys heard that little clip. Of course, I was talking over it. And it's like from my phone, so it doesn't sound great. I could like superimpose it in post, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get, sued. But listen to it and tell me what you think. Tell me if you guys are down with Poppy. I don't care if you're not. I love it, and that's going to be my guilty pleasure from now on. But thanks, guys. Thank you guys for tuning back in. I have a conversation with my mom. It's funny. Well, we kind of break the ice of getting her back on the podcast. We talk about the Super Bowl. We talk about ice skating, that kind of stuff. But stay tuned. Mama Reavis, she's back. Coming right up.
Oh, you didn't know?
Hello?
Yep.
What's up?
Nothing. I'm watching the Olympics.
Ice skating, huh?
Yeah. You know I used to do that.
I know. I hate ice skating so much.
Oh, yeah, well, it's because you've never tried it.
Well, yeah, no, it's because...
You'd have a good respect for it if you tried it.
It's because all the times that I've gone ice skating with friends or whatever, it's like I have to use those like really bad rental skates and like...
Right.
And I'm a big guy, right? And my ankles are not designed to like every time I go, the inside of my ankles hurt, right? Because that's where you're supposed to keep your weight or whatever.
But that's the key. You cannot skate on rental skates.
I know. I need like hockey skates.
And I had, competition skates. You didn't skate on rental skates.
Right.
The whole difference in the world with the support that you have,
Right. And I think and I'm pigeon-toed, so it's like.
Oh, I didn't know that, and I'm your mother.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm pretty pigeon-toed, and I walk. It's weird. Like my feet are like sometimes are pretty close together when I walk. I don't have like a wide base at my feet, and I walk on my toes.
Well, I knew that. You ran on your toes.
Right.
Ever since you were little.
Right. And I have like weird deformed toes now because of that. Like.
Oh my God.
Well, not really, but it's just like I can't curl my toes. They're like already in a like I'm tippy-toed all the time. I'm pretty self-conscious about it. But anyways.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I hate ice skating because it hurts my ankles because like.
Well, of course, it's gonna hurt anybody's ankles who wears those.
Yeah.
Skates.
So
in fact, I won't go because I don't have mine anymore, and I will not rent.
Yeah, so I have friends that like during the Christmas time, their birthdays during Christmas time or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we're going ice skating." I'm like, "Great, I'll see you afterwards."
Yeah.
We'll hang out then. But yeah,
anyway,
Olympics are here. We just had the Super Bowl. That was fun. We watched. We watched the Super Bowl.
Eagles won, and I was very happy. So it's the second best thing that could happen,
right?
Other than the Seahawks.
Right, and we watched the Super Bowl together. Kind of. I was on Skype with you guys.
That was fun because you were 45 seconds behind.
Yeah. So it turned out so we set up Skype where you guys set a computer up, and I was sitting here watching on my TV and had my computer. So it was like I was in the living room with you guys. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, because I had to watch on my PlayStation. I have like a TV thing on my PlayStation. I wasn't watching a live feed technically. It was streaming. So I was 45 seconds behind. And in key moments of the game, for a long time, I didn't care. I was just a little late. I'd hear your reactions and everything. I'd see what would happen later. But when it got down to the nitty-gritty, I wanted to be, surprised. I wanted to get the full effect. So I would mute you guys and watch my screen. And see what happens. And then like a crucial moment of the game happened and you guys saw it happen. So I'm just waiting. I'm kind of blocking you guys from my vision. I see the fumble happen. This is the moment, the big fumble when the Eagles kind of sealed the game. I start celebrating. I turn and look and just see 5 people looking at the camera, watching my reaction.
That's what was so fun, was that we got the excitement to see it happen, and then we couldn't wait to see your reaction.
Right.
So it was awesome that you muted us.
Yes.
Because we knew that, and we would something exciting would happen, and then we'd look to see when you would do it,
Yeah.
When you would react to it.
It was so funny. I'd turn and look and just see 5 people. It felt like I was on the Truman Show. Like, you guys were just watching me, my reaction. But it was a lot of fun. Got to hang out. We Skyped for 7 hours that day. It was cool.
I know. And then we talked for another, couple hours after that, I think.
Yeah, because then we started watching This Is Us, which everyone loves, and you spoiled it for me 45 seconds before it was happening.
That's the first time I'd ever watched it.
Me too. So I don't really care. But it was just funny. I was like, spoilers? Come on. Because there's a big, important episode.
He didn't die.
Yeah.
He didn't die.
Yeah. Then he ends up dying. Did you finish watching it?
No.
He dies at the hospital.
Why?
From smoke inhalation.
That seems weird because he came out alive.
I know, but that's the thing is he inhaled too much smoke and it killed him hours later.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah,
is that really possible?
Yeah, of course it is.
You think they would have treated it? That's just weird.
I know, but yeah, it's funny. There's a really good scene of when, because Mandy Moore plays the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, and it's when the doctor goes out to tell her, and she's like, "No, what are you talking about? He was fine. He came in here for burns," and she doesn't believe it, and she kind of gets mad at the doctor, and then walks in and sees him, and it's a really good scene, and that's the big people are like, "Oh, give her all the awards," because she did a really good job of portraying that, that moment, but. Yeah, people. I haven't watched that show. I don't. People love it, but I don't. I haven't watched it.
Because it makes everybody cry all the time or something.
Right.
I like ones that make me laugh all the time.
Right.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, but we didn't even talk about you're back. You're back on the podcast now. People. The people have been waiting.
I know that people are probably just totally thrilled.
I know. This is going to be my numbers are going to go through the roof when I announce.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I announced last.
People have been probably not living very good lives without my advice.
I know. Exactly. Last episode, I was like, all right, she'll be back next episode. So people are waiting on pins and needles for this episode to come out. So
well, here I
am. Hey, we got to make sure we need to get the advice column back because that's a lot of fun. Dan the mailman had a good question for us that stumped us for a few weeks. About the cookies and stuff.
He's a special guest on your show now.
Well, yeah, he was on last week to kind of talk about what happened there, to kind of clarify and kind of give us the conclusion, which was just that she was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever about it. So it was kind of a lame duck, answer to what happened, but it was funny the way he told it. But he says he's got plenty of stories on the road and of dogs chasing him and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, he'll be back on. He is featured on this episode at the beginning when I talk about the Super Bowl, and he is from Pennsylvania and he's an Eagles fan. So this was a big day for him, and I was like, hey, if you don't mind, Snapchat your day, and if you guys win, I'd love to play it on the podcast. And everyone heard that before, the day of an Eagles fan, and it's kind of funny because it's not. He starts like the first one is he's talking to the camera like, all right, it's almost game time, blah blah blah. Then it just turns into partying because they're Eagles fans. So, but I'm happy for him. I'm glad that they finally won and down with the Patriots. That's all good stuff. So
yeah, it really amazes me when their idea of celebration is flipping over cars and buses and starting fires and breaking business windows. I always find that, like, isn't that usually when you're mad about something?
Right. Say different strokes for different folks, I guess.
I guess so.
But we need to go on a vacation.
Yes.
I need a vacation real bad. I kind of talk about that. On the podcast. I need a vacation. So you like to go to Palm Springs. I want to do Palm Springs.
I love to go to Palm Springs. It's just that I was looking it up, and it's like twice as expensive as the last time I've been there.
Maybe we should.
I don't understand it.
Let's go to Arizona then.
Oh, Arizona. That's
spring training, March. Let's do it.
Oh, I looked that up, and that's really expensive too.
Oh.
Because of
spring training, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But and it's hard to find a place already.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's why I need to be in a motorhome.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Then I can go anywhere I want.
Yeah.
We can come pick you up, head on down to Arizona.
Yeah, but then that's like 4 days of just travel, and that's like half your vacation.
Oh, I can be in vacation as long as I want.
Because then you got to travel back too.
Yeah, but see, that's the point of having motorhomes, is you're not supposed to be in a hurry.
Yeah.
You don't take a motorhome if you're in a hurry. You take a plane, Right. So.
Well, all right. Well, it was good to just have you back on, just to say that you're back and so the people.
Yeah, glad to be here. It's about time.
Yeah, people could hear your voice again.
Going through mama withdrawals, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we're gonna get the advice column back. So hey, everyone who's listening, you got problems, mom's got answers. So let me know. Hit me up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, all that place, and we'll get your questions answered. And she's ready. But
you bet, yeah.
Glad to have you back on. Love you. Hope to see you soon. Hopefully we can do this vacation thing soon.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, kid. Love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast with me, Tony Reavis. That's a wrap. Episode 17 in the books. We talked Super Bowl. We talked Poppy. We talked anxiety, I guess. And we talked The Hobbit. Then we talked to moms. It's a good episode. It was good to get a lot of stuff out, whether it was the anxiety stuff or my guilty shame of loving Poppy. So good. Thank you guys for listening. For next week, I will have an episode next week. I promise. I'm going to make sure that I have an episode next week. Episode 18. It's coming to you. So be ready. I'm not going to guarantee there's a guest or anything like that. I've had a hard time connecting with guests. Just timing wise. I still have a lot of people that I want to have on, and I love doing the interviews and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll do solo episodes. Sometimes I'll have guests on. I want to have a guest on though, but I'm not going to make any guarantees because I always put my foot in my mouth. Am I going to have a guest or not? Is it going to be The Rock? Stay tuned. Who knows? He could pop up at any time. So you want to be listening. And how do you know when to listen? By going to youtube.com/iamTonyReavis and clicking that subscribe button. It's free, people. It's free. You don't have to pay to subscribe to my channel, so do it, please. I want to get to 100 soon. I really appreciate the support. So go there, subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, hit the little subscribe thing there. You can subscribe so every time there's a new episode, it pops up in your feed. And also on SoundCloud.com/OYDK Podcast for all my SoundCloud users. I love you guys. It's a little strange. I don't listen to things on SoundCloud really, but hey, you're out there. I get listens on SoundCloud, so I appreciate you guys. That's awesome. So that's it for this week. So stay tuned. Definitely send me your questions for Mama. We're going to get some advice from Mama Reavis. She's back, baby. Better than ever. We're going to get some questions. You're going to get your advice that you need. So you got something on your mind? Let me know. We'll ask her. You can send those to me at on Facebook or Twitter, iamTonyReavis, or Instagram at iamTonyReavis. Maybe I'll send a post and then you can comment on it. So look out for the post. And also you can send me an email, iamTonyReavis@gmail.com. But thank you guys for listening. So good to be back. I'm going to try to keep it regular. Next week, I will have episode 18. I promise. Episode 18 will be next week. By me saying this, it's guaranteeing it. Will I have a guest? I don't know. I want to. Maybe it works out. Who knows? Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. I love you guys. See you next time. And if you don't know, now you know. I am Tony Reavis. I'm out.